Have you ever been threatened just for wanting to grow your own vegetables in your front yard? I have, by a neighbor named Karen. It all started when I decided to replace a patch of plain, thirsty grass with a small vegetable garden. I wasn't doing anything wild, just planting tomatoes, peppers, and a few herbs to have fresh, clean food at home and save on groceries. But apparently, to Karen, this was unacceptable. She told me I was ruining the neighborhood's image and even threatened to report me to the homeowners association and get me fined. At first, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that something as simple and positive as growing vegetables could spark such a negative reaction. But I wasn't about to back down. I've always been passionate about nature and sustainability, and I believe everyone deserves access to healthy, homegrown food, especially in times like these. I didn't set out to cause trouble. I just wanted to grow something meaningful. But if Karen thought a few threats would stop me, she was in for a surprise. What happened next not only changed my lawn, but transformed the entire neighborhood. When I first started turning my front lawn into a vegetable garden, I didn't expect it to become a battleground. To me, it was simple: grass served no purpose, but food did. I tore out the green carpet and replaced it with rows of tomatoes, leafy greens, beans, carrots, and herbs. I felt excited watching the seeds sprout, knowing soon I'd be harvesting something real, something nourishing. But apparently, not everyone shared my enthusiasm. Just a few days into my project, my neighbor Karen stood at the edge of her driveway with arms crossed, lips tight, and a scowl that could wither any plant. "You're ruining the look of the neighborhood," she told me sharply. "This isn't a farm." I tried to explain it was just a garden, neat and well kept, not some messy patch of dirt. But she wasn't interested in hearing my side. Instead, she warned that she would report me to the homeowners association for damaging neighborhood aesthetics. I laughed nervously, thinking she couldn't be serious. But she was. Karen didn't just threaten me privately, she went on a campaign. She talked to neighbors, emailed the HOA, and made my little garden a subject of street gossip. Every time I was outside tending to the plants, I could feel eyes on me. Some neighbors avoided eye contact. Others stared with curiosity or disapproval. At one point, someone left an anonymous note in my mailbox saying, "We take pride in our neighborhood. Keep your farm in the backyard." The pressure started to build. I questioned myself. Maybe it really was causing too much of a stir. Maybe I should have just kept it to potted plants. But every time I considered giving up, I remembered why I had started this in the first place. Healthy food. Sustainability. Personal choice. Why should growing vegetables be controversial? Then one morning, as I was watering a row of spinach, the idea came to me clear and bold. What if this garden wasn't just for me? What if I turned it into something for everyone? A community garden, open to neighbors, a shared space to grow and connect. It was a long shot, and I wasn't sure anyone would say yes. But I decided to try. I designed some small flyers and dropped them into mailboxes, inviting neighbors to join me for a garden day, a casual afternoon to tour the garden, learn about what I was growing, and take home some produce. I didn't expect much. I thought maybe one or two curious people would show up. To my surprise, on the day of the event, a handful of families came by. Some brought kids who were fascinated by the tomatoes and delighted by the idea of pulling carrots out of the dirt. I answered questions, offered some basil and cherry tomatoes, and smiled more than I had in weeks. People thanked me. They said they never realized how easy it could be to grow food at home. A few even offered to help out. From that day on, everything began to shift. Every weekend, I hosted mini workshops, nothing formal, just chances for people to stop by, plant something, or take something home. I set up a give and take box where people could drop off seeds or pick up a fresh zucchini. I let kids paint little garden signs. I added a compost bin and labeled it with cheerful instructions. Slowly, the garden transformed. It wasn't just a vegetable patch anymore. It became a place where people chatted, exchanged tips, brought lemonade, and shared stories. At first, Karen stayed away. She still glared when she passed by. But one day, I saw her standing at the edge of the garden with a little girl, her granddaughter, I later learned. The child pointed excitedly at the tomatoes. I walked over, offered her one, and she bit into it with wide eyes. Karen didn't say much, but she didn't walk away, either. Over the next few weeks, she began showing up more often, sometimes with her granddaughter. Eventually, she asked me how hard it was to grow cucumbers. I gave her a seedling. That moment felt like a small miracle. The Homeowners Association, which had originally sent me a warning letter, backed off after several neighbors wrote in support of the garden. Some even suggested adding a similar space in the park nearby. The lawn that had once caused so much tension was now something the entire block talked about with pride. We had harvest days in the fall, where people brought dishes made with vegetables from the garden. We took photos, laughed, and for once, it felt like a real community, not just a row of houses, but a network of people connected by dirt and roots and sunlight. In the end, Karen's threat became the push I didn't know I needed. What started as a personal project turned into a shared movement, a green thread tying neighbors together. The garden gave us food, but more importantly, it gave us each other. And I think that's what made all the difference.